Hi again. So if you didn't notice, the only thing left to make it realistic is shadow. We need to add shadow to these flowers. For that we will use something called blending option. So right click here and that will be the first choice. So select it, and there is another way to do that. It's just by double click here. Okay, so this box will appear and you will find something called drop shadow down there. So click it until it's highlight and you can see some shadow there. So to see it, let's give it some distance. Now you can see it there. We want the shadow to be as same as box shadow there. Okay, so to do that we need to rotate that angle until we find the same direction. Okay, so take your time to find that. I think 60 will be good. Now of course we need to make it a small distance, like 10% or 20, and the size will be 20 for this one, but of course you can change it if you want. And you can make the shadow more darkness using the opacity. Okay, so now it's really dark. So change it and put it something like 50% will be good. Then press OK. Now we need to add shadows and lights on the flowers to make it realistic. For lightness I will use a dark tool. You can find it by right click here. Select it and be sure that the ring is maintenance. Now there is a couple of options here, highlights and shadow, but we will mostly use maintenance for highlighting. Then select it and make the exposure to something like 40%. Right click to change the size and try to choose brush with soft round. Okay, then let's add some light to the right side of the flowers. It's only a matter of clicking there repeatedly again and again. So I think doing that 3 times will be enough. Now when you finished, let's add some shadow to the left side of the flowers using something called bone tool there. So select it, and for this one let's put the ring to highlight and the exposure to something like 20. Then let's add what I love to call the basic highlighting shadow. So do that 3 times and then we will shift the ring to maintenance. Okay, so 3 times will be enough. Then change the ring to maintenance and let's add the final shadow and try to make it in the border. Don't go deep inside. Okay, so something like that will be good. And if you didn't get familiar with that, don't worry, because believe me, we will do this thousands of times in this course. Now let's go for the yellow flower. I think she is crying now. We missed it. Of course, if you did delete it or something, you can get it from the folder that I gave to you. So bring it in case you delete it. Now unhide it using this eye and move it a little bit, and Command T or Control T if you have a Windows to scale it down. And don't forget to hold Shift while you are doing that. Then rotate it a little bit and let's position it here. Okay, so make it a little bit bigger. Something like that will be fine. Okay, then save changes. And now I want to put these flowers behind the box. So ask yourself how I can do that. It looks so easy. Just delete the right side of the flowers and it will be shift down. But actually that will not happen. First of all, let's try to erase it using erase tool and see if that works. So if you did that, you probably will do some mistakes. So undo that and then go to the red box. Choose quick selection tool, and of course you can use magic wand tool, and let's select the border of the box. Then get back to the flowers, and then if you delete it, you can delete it perfectly. So Command D to deselect. Now it looks floating around, so we need to add the shadow of the box on the surface of the flower. Of course, we will do that using Bone tool. Shift the ring to highlight to add the basic shadow. So do that slowly. Okay, so I think 2 times will be enough. Then shift to Maintenance and give it the last part of shadow. So now it looks like it is underneath the red book. Then let's add a drop shadow by double clicking there to make it realistic. Okay, then change these options and put them like I did. Then save change by press OK. Wonderful. Now let's add the final part to our work. Okay, I think that's fine. Now let's add the final part in our project, which is the coffee shop. Oh my god, the coffee cup. Okay, so bring that here, scale it up. Of course, don't forget to hold shift while you are doing that, and then position it here and save changes. Shift the coffee cup to the top of layers. Okay, then we need to resize the smart object using any simple tools as always. Okay, press OK. Then let's remove the background using Magic Wand tool. If we click here, now you can see some areas was selecting wrongly, and that's because the tolerance is so big. So make it smaller and then click again and again inside until you select the whole background, and then press backspace. Control D to undo select, Control T to resize it, make it smaller, and of course you can rotate it, then position it here. Okay, a little bit bigger, save changes. And let's add some shadow. You should be familiar with that, so I will not talk. It's okay, and now you can see a nice shadow there. Now imagine that the light is coming from the right side. Then of course we will need some shadow there. Okay, so put to highlight as the first one, then shift it to Maintenance as always. And now it's really looks realistic. Okay, so I think that's it. I think you learned a lot, maybe and maybe not. Thank you for watching, and see you next lecture.